everyone, I'm Nicola from Moving Memories, and today I'm talking to Heather Jacobs, who is from Houston, Texas, and Heather is a community relations volunteer for FamilySearch. So Heather, tell me a little bit about what that entails. What is a community relations volunteer for FamilySearch?
To describe that, I kind of need to go into a little bit about my background. I've been a volunteer with FamilySearch for quite a few years, doing various things in different areas. And recently it has been volunteer work with community and doing the Facebook community group that I'm involved in, helping to connect communities in person, talking to each other, connecting with each other, finding out what their interests are and how they can help each other, just to do what they're passionate about. I've been doing online community within FamilySearch, and I've also been doing an online meeting, we've called it The Bridge, where we've gotten people from all over the world has been invited. It's been mostly United States based, but we have people come over from other countries. And we get together once a month and we talk about what our passions are within family history work and what we're doing, how we can help each other. How can we take what they're doing and apply it to what we want to do, and maybe some things that we're doing that they can apply to what they're doing. And so I just help to connect people, help them get involved into what they're passionate about.
So what inspired you to start looking at your family history?
There's a few things that have. Some of them are stories that my family has told over the years. To us, they're rich family stories, and so I've been passionate about that. Another thing is death in the family, whether they were children or adults. Those stories carry through and they have deep personal meaning to people, and they just kind of seem to pass that down on to their children as they talk about it. Family vacations, we would go and visit homesteading places on both sides of the family. Where did this family grow up? And they're still there, and what are the stories with that? And then I also have a grandmother who worked on a lot of family history. I had my mother who collected stories from another family line. I had another grandmother who would talk about the family and the stories that connected with there, and it just kind of seemed to ingrain itself within me and got me excited about it all.
That's wonderful. Gosh, you've got a lot going on, and a lot of stories, I'm sure, that have come through all of those lines in your family. So how wonderful. So what is some special advice you may be able to offer someone who's just starting out on their genealogy or their family history journey? What advice would you give them, where to start?
I would say to do what you're passionate about. We are all passionate about different things, and family history work means different things to different people. Some people it's photos, some people it's stories, some people it's cemetery restoration, some it's research. Do what you're passionate about. Don't be afraid to think outside the box in ways that you can do it. Technology is at our fingertips, and so don't be afraid of the technology, but also don't be afraid to go and talk to people. Go and talk to people, ask questions, find out what they're passionate about, and maybe you have talents that could help them, and they'll have talents that may help you. Don't be afraid of those connections, and have fun. Family history work is supposed to be fun. It's not supposed to be something, grueling or horrible to do. It's just supposed to be something that you love, and don't be afraid to share what you're doing.
That's great advice. Thank you for that. It's really important to talk to people and ask questions, isn't it? I think we sometimes think we know everything about our families and we don't need to ask the deep questions, but actually we do. We need to go deeper, don't we?
Yeah. And even if you're passionate about something that is within your community, don't be afraid to go and ask people questions, because people really want to share as well. I think the best advice I could say would be to listen and say, teach me. What can I learn from you? And how can I help you? And it's amazing when you say those words, when it's not about you, it's about them, that people open up and they really want to learn more about what you do, but they want to tell you what they're doing. And just listening to what they're doing, you can start to get ideas of how you can work together, and it becomes very beautiful.
That's so true. Have there been things you've discovered about your family history that's taken you by surprise? Anything that you'd like to share?
Surprise, not so much, is a very beautiful discovery. I have family that have immigrated from Ukraine back in the early 1900s, 19-teens area, and they didn't really talk a lot about it. And there were some stories, and we've gathered stories over time, but one particular story was who helped them immigrate. And everybody just called him Uncle Lemko. And I had no idea who this person was. It's a very common name. And through a series of asking questions of family and trying to piece together stories that my mother's collected, piece together scraps of paper that had information written on after my grandfather passed away. He married into the family, and he had written family information on scraps of paper that we had found going through his files after he passed. And seeing all of that, I started to make some connections, and had a friend help me, and we started to make some connections, and we found who Uncle Lemko is. We found his wife. We also found a potential brother and his wife. It was very exciting, but that's only the first half of the discovery. We and using city directories was very helpful too, through Ancestry and that. But we so that was the first half, and the second half was as I figured out where they were buried, and there was another person buried in the cemetery, nowhere near them. And I thought, well, I'll file that away in my head and write the name down, and we'll come back to that. And over time, I had requested from Find a Grave a person to go and take a picture for me at this cemetery because it's in New York. And I was nowhere near there, and so I requested to be able to get a picture of that. Well, they not only took a picture of the headstone of this man and his wife, but they saw that there was another name on this headstone, which was this individual. And then they realized, they told me kind of what had happened, and it all made sense. What had happened was this individual who was buried in a different place is a child, and I knew it was a child. And it was she was buried in a children's part of the cemetery, which I have learned over time through experience that now that they have children's cemeteries or sections in cemeteries that are dedicated to children. I don't know how that is across the world, but at least here in the United States, they do have cemeteries that have a section devoted to children. And so this child's name was engraved on the stone, and the marker, or their gravestone, was actually moved to sit next to the parent's stone. So whether this child was exhumed and moved over, or just the headstone was moved over, they were put there. I was told that they were childless, and come to find out, they did have a child. She died young, but they did have a child. And for me, that's just beautiful. And so I keep trees on FamilySearch. I keep a tree on Ancestry. I keep a line of communication open if people want to talk to me and help me gather more information. But this is just one side of the family that we don't have a lot of information on. And I've discovered that he is potentially a cousin to my great-grandparents who immigrated over. So it's just piecing little pieces together and realizing where we come from in all different parts of the world and the heritage.
Amazing.
So thank goodness to volunteers that people want to help take pictures, or people want to help you gather information, or people are willing to tell the story. And I will say, whatever the story is, write it down. As strange and bizarre as that story may be, I have found great treasures by writing the bizarre stories down, because as much as I may think they're bizarre, there is truth to many of these stories, and then it takes you on different treasures to find records and find people.
And by sharing it on the FamilySearch platform, you're then allowing others to read it, and if they see a connection to, they can help.
Yes, exactly. I would love help. It's one of these lines that they probably do not have very many relatives alive. Right. But if there are, and if people can get in there and help me or see something and want to communicate with me, I'm all for it.
Mm-hmm. Real community effort, isn't it, to get all these details for everyone's families. That's something that we don't think about, is that we can actually help others, as well as doing our own family tree. We can also help others, which is great.
Right, exactly.
Do you have a family history app or a website or a tool? I mean, other than FamilySearch, obviously. What is your favourite family history app that you use?
This is going to sound very funny, but I love RecordSeek. It is, for those who use FamilySearch or Ancestry, what RecordSeek is, it's just a platform that you upload, you get on, it's recordseek.com, and you upload it onto your bookmark bar, and what it does is it attaches sources to Ancestry and FamilySearch, and I love it. It makes attaching sources wonderful. But I also love, obviously, FamilySearch. I use Ancestry. I love Find a Grave. Bless those volunteers who help. And I have family, too, that whenever they're in a cemetery will also go looking for any requests that may come through that people need pictures of for a headstone. So I love that option. I love, this is not well known, but for those who have family in the state of New York or surrounding states and up into Canada in that part, FultonHistory.com, FULTON history.com. It takes newspapers, old newspapers and old postcards, and they have them on this site, and that's where I've been able to find a lot of information. There's a whole plethora of websites out there, just so many. Google is a lovely tool, or any other search engine is a lovely tool.
Great. Yeah. Well, we'll put those, the names of those websites that you mentioned, we'll put those in the description of the video so people can check them out. Thank you very much for sharing those. I'm sure that'll keep a lot of people entertained for for many hours.
Most likely.
I'm once I get onto these things, I lose track of time, and that's because it is our passion, isn't it? You kind of find one thing and think, oh, I wonder if that's leading to something else, and you just, before you know it, you've gone down 2 hours of time down on the internet. But
I call them family history comas. I do. Family history comas. You're just sucked in, and you didn't realize that 4 hours went by, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I should eat. Maybe I should get some sleep. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah, I can relate. Wonderful. So what is the specialist area that you would say you're most passionate about, Heather, in family history? What is your favourite area of expertise?
Stories and community building. I mean, I've been talking about this a lot probably, but I love that each of us have that individual passion and that we can connect with anybody through family history work. You talk to somebody, tell me about your story. And maybe they may not know their family story, but they have a story. Tell me about your children's story. Tell me about, and you can connect with, you can even connect with the community that you live within. Tell me about the story about your community. You can connect. And you find that common bond, and so much can happen, and you just share, and it's just a beautiful thing to have happen. I love the stories. Stories are what connect people. Absolutely, the research and the dates and the documentation are incredibly important, but so is the story.
Absolutely.
And that to me is beautiful, because that kind of helps you understand who you are. That understands the community in which you grew up in, the community in which your family grew up in. It explains so much and gives you so much understanding.
Yeah, yeah. As you know, stories are my passion as well. So I do think that it's interesting to see how our characteristics and our sort of quirks and personality traits can come down through our ancestors as well, even if we haven't met them before. I've seen that firsthand, and it's fascinating. So
absolutely.
we are all definitely connected.
Very many
so cool.
revelations and aha moments.
Oh yeah. So we already said that yes, we can go into this family history coma area where 4 hours have gone and we didn't realise. So on average, how much time do you think you spend, say, a week on family history projects?
Well, I'm going to divide that up into two categories. One is my personal.
Okay.
And then one is my volunteer work, and I do more on the volunteer work than my personal. I think that's just normal for many of us who do this type of thing. So personal, I would say anywhere between about 3 and 10 hours a week. But that can be anything. It could be journal writing. It could be putting a photo book together. It can be talking to people about family work. It can be so many different things. And so on top of the research or what. So there's that. And then for volunteer, over the years, it changes depending upon what projects I'm involved in, anywhere between 20 and 60 hours a week.
Wow.
It just depends. It just really just depends. And I've learned to, over the years, there is such a thing as balance. That is always good.
Yeah.
In learning it. So, yeah, but I do love doing this.
Amazing, gosh. Well, that's an incredible story. Thank you very much for talking to me today. Is there anything else you'd like to share with people who might be looking to save their family stories? Any words of wisdom before we finish our interview today?
Record them. Record them, record them, record them. Oh, I can't say that enough, can I? So many programs or apps have recording abilities. FamilySearch has an amazing recording ability to be able to record the story and upload it on the tree instantly. There's so much information out there. And whether you write them or whether you record them, don't stop there. Put it online, save it somewhere, share it, because these stories aren't just for you, they are for family. They're for posterity. They need to have this, and if you can upload it online and have it for them and share it, what a blessing, an absolute blessing. And to even be able to hear their voice if you have it. I have a voice machine of my grandmother sending me a message just over the machine. She has since passed, but I recorded that, and it's just a blessing to be able to hear her voice, her checking on me. She was actually calling to wish me happy birthday. And so whenever my birthday comes, I play it. It's just so nice to hear her voice on my birthday. But if we can have those type of memories, whether they're written or voice memos, how beautiful that is.
It really is. Yeah. It really is. And it was one of the reasons I started Moving Memories, was because I was very determined to help people save those voices and personalities on film, because either on film or in an audio. But the voices, as you say, it's something really special. And you know, we didn't save enough of my father's story before he passed. We didn't save very much of it at all. But I still do have some snippets, like on his 70th birthday when he was opening his gift, and you know, we were all around him and sharing that moment. So we've got, you know, little snippets like that, but there's definitely so much more that we could have saved. So I say to people, don't wait until you're 70, don't wait until you're 60, get started now sharing stories of your family and your parents and grandparents that, you know, perhaps will be lost if you don't share them. So yeah, it's really important that we do that, and we put them somewhere safe. And that's usually, I suggest 2 places. So on the cloud, somewhere safe on the cloud, in a Dropbox or in your Google Drive, or in the FamilySearch space. I'm not quite sure how that's done, but you could probably... Can you just give us a little quick example of how that's done? The saving of stories.
Put me on the spot here to sit here and go, and there's an app.
Yeah.
And I put on my app, and then they just walk you through it. And you can go in and you can get on the person page. You can add a memory. You can, and then they'll tell you, do you want to add a photo, a voice? You know, do you want to upload it? How do you want to do this? They really walk you through it, and it's very well done. And then attach it to the tree. Yes, I want to attach it. Yes, I want to attach it to this person, tag it to this person, and it's uploaded. And it's really quite easy and very lovely to do. So it's FamilySearch, Family Tree, and it's just a lot of fun. And in that way, you can also share it with others, and they can hear it and have it to listen to. And another thing with that is sometimes you just don't know if they say something that could really trigger a research topic that you just didn't think about, that you could go find another family member. They could trigger a story that you either didn't remember, or, oh, that's a new one. Let me see what I can find out about that. And so it's little things. A simple story goes a long way.
Yeah. Sometimes the stories can lead to all sorts of additional family members that you didn't know existed. So yeah, I agree. Record everything, and that's great to know that FamilySearch has that function. FamilySearch, Family Tree, it is, isn't it? So we'll put those links in the description so people can go and have a look at that, and start saving some of their records to a space that it will be safe. All right. Well, thank you so much, Heather, for joining me today, and it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you. I'm sure we will continue talking after this, and you have a wonderful day.
Thank you so much for inviting me.
Okay.
Bye-bye.
Bye.